First Family is back again. But did Fantastic Four First Steps give us the reboot that we deserve? Or is it just another cosmic letdown? Today on Real Talk, we're diving into the latest FF installment, comparing past versions and exploring where they fit in this MCU puzzle. Grab your popcorn, cause it's clobbering time. Real Talk coming at you next.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Capri, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Judy. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And nothing less. What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk. Coming live from the Sunshine State as I'm on vacation. See, look, I even cut into my vacation for you guys so we can talk about the things that we need to talk about, and that is film, and everything film. Yo, once again, it's Wes Clark, the Director. We represent Real Talk. Of course, Fantastic Four First Steps is our topic of the day. We will be talking that. Yeah, man, and a couple other things we'll talk about as well. But we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into it and compare it to some of the past versions of it, which, I mean, in my opinion, is not much of a compare. Do apologize for the echo because I'm in like this timeshare that I'm staying at. So the echo is kind of, unfortunately, can't really help that. But we are here for you. We're here to talk everything we love talking about. So we'll do a deep dive on the Fantastic Four. Spoiler alert for all of you who haven't seen it yet. But we definitely wanted to do this deep dive into it and see what people are thinking. Most of everyone I spoke to, except for one, I have a buddy, a longtime buddy, who completely hated it. I mean, he didn't like it. I don't really know why. He explained kind of like what he was saying, but I didn't really understand it because it was very comic accurate to a degree. And as far as the story goes, the power sets, but he didn't like it. So, hey, it's what it is. That's the only one that I heard didn't like it, but everyone else that I've gotten, pretty much liked it. So, Fantastic Four First Steps, man. Did Marvel finally, you got this, you got Thunderbolts, which was also done very well. It looks like Marvel is getting back on the right track. Not that I'm not saying that they was put out, but we all know, as much as you love being a fan of watching these movies, we know that a lot of these movies fell off kilter a little bit, especially on the storyline part. So it looks like they're getting back in order, which really excites me. Matt Shakman is going to have to be added to the little group of directors that we christened our fans christened to kind of like really can do no wrong when it comes to making MCU movies, that being the Russo brothers, that being Ryan Coogler, and I guess we can add Matt Shakman in there. maybe Favreau. You know, Favreau only really did Iron Man. I don't know if he didn't do any of the other ones. I don't think he might have did Iron Man too, um, but Fav, no, he just gets it and he knows. But I don't think he's gonna direct too many of them because he's in a lot of them. That's happy, right? So, yeah, we'll probably grab one more in there. I don't know. The rest of them, to me, can keep it moving. Gunn is going over to DC, and you know, I'm cool. I think Gunn. I was cool with Gunn handling Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's pretty much it. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of his stuff, but he's good at he's good at using characters that you don't expect much out of and make it better than what you expected, which is probably why, you know, I didn't think, you know, I'm not gonna say he didn't handle Superman well, but I don't know, I didn't expect a lot from it because he's good at characters, he's good at using characters that you don't expect to be that good, and then they're like, oh, this is great. So you usually go into his stuff with low expectations, and then, oh, okay, cool. So that's cool. And see if we your Jedi Council will be back. We also got Tony Perez back with us, and maybe some more people to join. A lot of people asked to join. We'll see if they show up. But we'll go from that into the weekend recap brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com for the weekend of July 25th to the 27th. Number 5 is the Smurfs, made 5.4 million over the weekend, bringing the worldwide total. And it just opened last week. No, it just opened July 18th. The worldwide total was only at $69 million. So that's definitely off to a very slow start. I think the Smurfs, I have my thoughts on that. But anyway, next, number 4 is F1, the movie, made another 6.2 million over the weekend, bringing the worldwide total to $509.6 million. Number 3, Jurassic World Rebirth, made another 13 million over the weekend. And that's bringing the worldwide total to $718.3 million. Okay. Number 2 is knocked out of the number 1 spot is Superman. Made another 24.9 million, almost 25 million over the weekend. Pretty cool. Bringing the worldwide total to 502.7 worldwide. And number 1, our topic of the day, the Fantastic Four First Steps, over opening weekend, made 118 million domestic, 100 million worldwide, which brings the worldwide total for the opening weekend, $218 million worldwide. So it's gotten some good responses, gotten some good reviews, and it's off and running. So we'll go from there. And yeah, so still waiting on the rest of our Jedi Council, but until then, we'll bring in our guest for the night, our man AJ Perez, Tony Perez, back with us. What's up, brother?
What's up, bud? I
How
got
you
3
doing?
comments.
Uh-huh.
I got 3 comments. Number 1, without Favreau, there would be no MCU.
I
Okay,
agree. I agree.
he made hits,
That's why I said he
so
needs to
you
be.
can't you
To
can't say,
me, he's
well, maybe Favreau. No, without
no,
Favreau, there would
no
be no
Favreau.
MCU.
The only reason why I said maybe Favreau is because I know he's probably not really interested in directing any more of them because he's in them. So he just, you know, as he's like a character, you know.
He's a boss now. He's a boss at
Yeah,
MCU. Disney.
yeah,
He's a boss. Like he
yeah.
helped guide all this shit now. So don't hate on Favreau, bro.
Never,
Uh,
never hate him. I love
Number
Fab.
2, Superman still made more money than Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Just want to get that out there, even though you guys are all hating on Superman still. And
But will it make more money at the end of the day is the question.
Oh, dude, it's already it's gonna make way more money. So, but
Way
you know
more
what? The
money, you
biggest thing
think?
about that
I
is
think it's
that
about to level off at this point. It's
the
gonna,
big deal is that China really kind of flopped. China
yeah,
did not love Superman,
yeah.
which is weird. Um,
Mm.
and I forgot what your opening statement was. This is the third comment I had in there.
Hmm.
And but I gotta tell you, the other two Fantastic Four priors, whatever they were, they're not
Yeah.
even on the map anymore. They don't even exist. I don't even want to. I don't think we should even talk about them. They're so bad. Tim
Well,
Story, who? Oh my gosh! And they gave that dude 2 movies to try to fix the whole thing.
uh,
Um, I gotta tell you, I was so happy to see
although I like
Galactus.
Tim's story, though, I do like him as a director.
He's likable. Yeah, he made a
Yeah.
shitty Fantastic Four. But I gotta tell you, Galactus, I was so happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Galactus, seeing Galactus, and you know what? I saw it a couple times, and
Hmm.
then I saw it a third time. I took my mother,
Uh-huh.
um, and for me, she told me I looked like a kid while I was watching the movie, and I'm like, Mom, I grew
Well,
up
she would
reading all
know.
this stuff.
She would know. She'd
You
look at
know,
you and see, oh man, you're like a kid again. If it,
she's like, your
she,
eyes. She could see my eyes were so bright, and I was just paying so much attention. And she said I was smiling the whole time,
wow.
and I was like, wow, Mom, that's kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not knocking Fantastic Four. I think that she said that you can tell a good actor in the movie who the good actors were because the camera did not need to be on them the whole time because their acting showed even when they were off camera.
Mm.
And Ben Grimm's uh, uh, screen capture,
Even
dude.
what's his name? Baccarat.
This
What's his name? Eben Moss Baccarat or something like that.
his acting with the screen capture and everything, playing Ben, was out of this world.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
see the emotionality through a guy that's got a face of a rock, dude, that
He did
was
it.
like
They did
that
that,
was like
man. He was great. I mean, everything about him, man. That softness inside. That when he's there with his
yeah.
family, but he was obviously, no pun intended, hard outside.
But
Um.
dude,
Yeah.
he loved Franklin. Almost like, look, he won't put Franklin down. Every scene, he's holding Franklin. It's like
Won't
how
put him down.
gentle. He's like that showed how gentle Ben really is. The
Yeah.
fact that almost every scene he was carrying the baby.
He was carrying the baby. Yep. And another one joining our panel is Mr. Bruce Penn is back. BAP, what's up, brother?
I am in transit. Not sure if you can hear me.
I hear you. I hear you. We'll we'll
Okay,
we'll, we'll
cool.
keep that in mind. Tony Perez is with us again, and then the
My
rest of the
man Tony.
council is on their way.
How you doing?
My
By the
man
way,
Tony. What's
Bruce,
up, Tony?
Superman had a higher box office than Fantastic Four worldwide.
This guy's still talking about Superman.
Well,
We'll see
okay.
where it ends up.
In fairness, it's not always indicative of the quality of production.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
That's why Superman did better.
look at this
No.
guy.
All right, Tony. I'm warming up already. Okay, let's go.
Well, one thing we'll start with obviously what we've been talking about. Obviously, everybody here, and I believe even when the rest of the council comes,
Oh, I remember my
uh,
third comment. Sorry. You're in Cali?
No.
I'm in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you said Sunshine State. That's California, bro.
No, the Sunshine State is
No,
is uh,
Sunshine
Florida.
State is California.
is Florida.
California. All right, keep going.
All right. Well, I'm in Florida. So, Yeah, man. So I wouldn't come to Cali and not let you know, Tony. Come on.
I was gonna say, man, I was gonna fly over to
Let's
your neck of the woods
nah,
and
bro.
slap you upside the head and go, what's up, dude?
Let's go. Nah, man. Last time I came over there, man, you took me to a great Mexican restaurant, man. It was great.
You had margarita. That was back in the day
facing
when I could
facing
still drink.
facing the Pacific Ocean. you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, nah, that
it
was
was
cool.
nice.
That was very cool. But yeah, so we all, obviously liked it. And yeah, I know it's not much of a comparison. I mean, the other ones don't compare much to it. But in fairness, I do want to talk about some of the really great points, in this film. One we mentioned already, the gentle giant, if you will, of Ben Grimm, always carrying holding the baby, like it just shows how much the family dynamic in this film was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. It even made you feel like, I don't know. I thought about my own family, yeah, so someone in the
It, it
chat room
was it
says the
was
movie was
corny
lit.
in the beginning, and every time they
Mhm,
showed Mr. Fantastic or Reed,
mhm.
he was corny. They gave him the corny lines, but I loved him being the nerd, in
Yeah,
which and he equated every problem through mathematics,
yeah,
and that was awesome. I was like, wow, that is so cool. He's got his boards everywhere, and he's got his equations written and it's just like, so if we do this, then that and this, and this equals that, and I was just like, wow, this is the
yeah.
nerd
Now,
in him was always out there.
he did
Actually,
really well.
actually, Tony, sorry, Wes. Actually, Tony, it was the first look into how his mind worked. What, not that, okay, it's easy to say someone's super smart and that will solve
That's
all
what I
the
just said.
questions in the plot. But the fact that he says, I think of the worst, and how I accept the worst, that's why he considered it. Because I said, how can a father even consider um
Using his
putting
son.
yeah, sacrificing his son? However, the thought process was understandable, and that's when you really understood how Richard's mind worked. That, for me at least, that's the first
Yeah,
time I understood how his mind worked. Not that he was smart; he's smart in every Fantastic Four.
yeah.
But this was the first inkling to how his brain thinks, and I thought it's just these little nuances, and they're sprinkled through the whole film
Hmm.
of just the attention to detail. I thought it was spectacular.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
they
agree.
brought it up a lot, his education and how smart he was.
Hmm.
They talked about, his driving tests, they talked about all this other stuff. They kept reinforcing how intelligent he was
Yeah.
Yes.
throughout the film in different spots. And I love that. I
Yep.
thought
So
that was
since
really
since we're
cool.
since we're on Mr. Fantastic, so a lot of people, I was a little, I didn't know how to feel, but there was a lot of people really skeptical about Pedro Pascal being cast as Mr. Fantastic. As a matter of fact, I mentioned at the top of the show, one of my friends who is the only friend that I have that I've talked to that completely hated the movie. And he hated
Wow.
Mr.
Wow.
Fantastic. He hated Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. I
I
think
think
he
they
was.
could have done with a different actor also. Like, I'll let
Mhm,
him slide, but
I would
yeah,
he is
agree.
Disney's favorite child. Like,
I would agree.
everything that Disney's got, that's a big deal. He's Pedro Pascal's in it.
Yeah,
yeah,
that would not have been my first choice, but he made it work. I'll tell you that. I that
yeah.
He
not
did.
my
He did. I'm not
yes,
hating it. I'm just saying
Mhm,
they got a very interesting cast. They could have gone the
mhm.
yes,
same way with Reed.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I agree. What I
They
did,
needed the big name. They needed the big name. And
they
like, hey,
needed
let's call
that.
our buddy
Yeah,
Pedro.
yeah, he was definitely the star, the big name of the film. But one thing I will say, what he did to me, was he found a pocket that he can stay in You can even hear the little bit of the cadence in his voice where he kind of found a cadence that he used to be the nerdy Reed, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah, he did great as a nerd. He played a
yeah,
perfect
yeah,
nerd.
he played perfect. As far as that goes, a lot of people was talking about, oh well, his look. Like I said, I thought like, oh man, I never, I've always seen Reed Richards usually either clean face or full beard, like like from the comics and stuff like that. I never really saw him with like the little mustache looking, deal. So I was like,
He had the
okay,
permanent 5 o'clock shadow.
yeah, yeah, he had that. So I was like, all right, cool, they did good with it. But I have to say, I was satisfied with. Yeah, I will, like you, Tony. You said, let certain things slide, but I will settle for not the best. Okay, maybe some guys might have fit the role physically better, but at least he nailed the parts that we needed him to nail, the
Yeah.
emotion, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And what they were going for with Reed is something that, in the comics, there's a lot of, Reed, like you have the Council of Reeds, right? Which is like a
Yeah.
bunch of different versions of Reed Richards. But all of those guys are usually like straight logic Reed. So like if the Council of Reeds was in this, they would have told him, give up the baby. That's what they would have said. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause they're like, hey, it's the logical thing. This is what you need
Right.
to do. But obviously, I loved with the family dynamic in there and really the emotion behind the Reed Richards that he played. I think Pedro Pascal was definitely the guy for that because he could bring forth emotion when
I love the
needed.
fact that he considered it. I was like,
Yeah,
oh shit. Oh shit, he's considering it. But
yeah, yeah.
but think of the gravity of the situation. He's trying to save a planet. It's not just, I
Mhm.
mean, so if you want to go back in biblical time and look at the sacrifice of uh who was
Job,
asked to sacrifice? Was it
Job,
Abraham?
Abraham,
Who was it? Abraham. Yeah.
Abraham.
Right.
Mhm.
So it, not that it has biblical or spiritual reference, but this is not the first time uh someone has been faced with, a sacrifice, for a greater good, a bigger cause. So
Yeah,
I like the fact that he considered it, and the dynamic of the family of the wife to say, how the hell can you fucking consider that? Why is that even a possibility?
yeah.
Well, how could you possibly? He's like, well, and Wes, what was the line? The perfect line to that? Remember, he said,
Um.
remember what did she say? I am
Oh,
not willing to
she said, "I'm not.
sacrifice
Yeah,
my
I'm not
child
going to
for the world.
sacrifice. Right. I'm not going to sacrifice my child for the world. However, I will not sacrifice the world for my child."
I
So
love, perfect, lovely, wonderful,
yeah, that was
wonderful.
great writing there. Wonderful writing. And matter of fact, since we're on her, we'll jump to her. Now, a lot of people, here's the deal. Sue Storm has evolved through the years in the comics and whatever, right? Sue
Yeah,
Storm has evolved from damsel to or just side chick to the powerhouse that she is. And even in the comics, this
Failure.
was comic. The power set was comic accurate. With she has her abilities, and this is in the comics, has risen to almost I don't want to say God level, but very very
Exactly.
powerful,
Exactly.
very
I was like,
powerful.
he's playing Sue Storm exactly to a T. She wasn't
Yeah.
playing that pussy ass, weak ass fucking Jessica Alba, like, I
yeah,
can
true.
Well,
you
True.
know?
Sue has become, like I said, she's evolved. She's not, she's the most powerful member of the group. Let's keep it real. She is the most powerful member of the group at some point in the comics, right? Of the team. Force fields, almost god tier. You know what I mean? That she can make when, especially in the comics. she evolved from the damsel. That's what everyone else kind of played the whole dance. And it's funny because I hear a lot of people that seem to have had a problem. Not a lot, but a few people seem to have had a problem with that. They would have a problem there from the beginning because see, there's this one group that I follow online. I actually stopped following them because they love posting nonsense to get people up in arms. Like they post stuff like Sue Storms will lead the Fantastic Four. And that just gets that's enough. That headline is enough to trigger people to be like, oh, here they go again. The MCU, as they call it. Here comes the MCU. They gotta move a female to a power position and this, that, and the other. No, everyone knew. I was like, y'all fall for this every time. She's not leading the team. Although in the comics, she did lead the team sometimes. So I'm like, but I think Bruce mentioned this offline once before. Another dynamic that I love that Matt Chapman did was he captured that they were all intelligent.
They were all smart.
They were all smart.
Even Johnny wasn't an asshole who was just chasing skirts. He was the guy who figured out the language. You know, he deciphered that, and he wasn't just these characters were multidimensional. And I think Tony had mentioned earlier, I was listening, we were talking about how he was always holding the baby, Grim. He wasn't just always just angry, self-deprecating pile of rocks. You know, Reed wasn't just this smart guy who was a nerd. Johnny wasn't just this skirt chasing. They all were multidimensional. And just like in humans, we're all multidimensional. And I love that. I love that.
I agree. I agree. That's a good touch of good writing to make it. Yeah,
it was very good.
Yeah, I mean, we all know. Okay, Johnny is he's the wild card, and he's just an impulsive. But the fact that with this situation, and I believe even in an impulsive, whatever type of Johnny, he would kind of reel it in a little bit because of the gravity of the situation, right? You know, maybe fighting other villains, he is that impulsive, Johnny, in the middle of a fight, stopping,
hate to say it, hothead,
But dude, the thing is, they liked each other. They actually liked each other. That's another comment my mom made. They're like, wow, the family likes each other. Even the friend, he's technically a brother or whatever, a breed, brother from another mother. They're like, they all like each other.
Yeah. They all love and like each other. And it was just a great dynamic. But yeah, Johnny being the smartest, and if you notice, he said in the beginning when they once again, and I think you mentioned this once before, Tony, in one of your posts, you said you love the way, because Superman did it too, how they're doing these non-origin story movies now, where you're not forced to see their origin story. You get a quick little recap of what's going on in that moment, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah. And you're like, whoa, I didn't have to sit through an hour. And then 5 minutes of action and the movie's over.
Yeah. So and as you pointed that out, Superman did the same thing, which I said was one of my biggest compliments of the movie is that they, Gunn didn't force you to sit through another origin story. We didn't have to see Superman get sent to from Krypton to Earth and all that other stuff, and you didn't have to see him as a baby. We didn't have to see none of that. So
I like that fact. I did like that fact.
I love that. So you get thrown right into it. This 3 years in, 3 months into the thing, and everything was a 3. It was 300 years, something days. Everything was a 3 when it came to Superman. 30 days, 3 years in, 3 months into the relationship. And 3 minutes ago, he had just got his ass kicked and he lost his first fight. So, that was
super guy. Yeah.
Super guy. Yes, but Fantastic Four. Yeah, we all know this. It's so funny. He's like, we all know the story, people. But he goes ahead and tells you the story. But he says
Right.
it very briefly and quickly. Yeah, they went
Yeah.
up, blah blah blah, got some powers, came back, and then now they're
Well,
Fantastic
dude,
Four.
they didn't even see him go through the cosmic graves, and they're like,
Nothing.
oh, none of that shit.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
just
this is what
heard
happened.
like
They came back
you
and they were
heard
different.
audio. You heard audio, and it's funny because we talked about this very thoroughly with Ryan Coogler in Sinners when with dialogue and audio. Remember the scene with Delta Slim, and he's telling his story when they were riding in the car. You didn't get no flashbacks. They didn't take you to no video or any.
Didn't have
Uh,
to. Yeah.
it was all his story, and you heard some audio that kind of complemented the story, and that
Right.
was it. You know, I mean, now Kev used to say this all the time. Marvel has kind of made a decision that they're no longer holding your hand. They're no longer going to hold your hand. But they want to make films that, of course, if you're not caught up, that's on you.
Right.
It's all on Disney Plus. You can go watch all the movies you want to watch. They're all in order as they get on Disney Plus. They
Yeah.
put them in order. You can watch them in any order you want, story order, chronologically. It doesn't
Right.
matter. You can watch them.
You
So
can watch all of them. Yeah.
all of them. So they're no longer
Beginning with
holding.
Favreau's classics.
Yep. With
That
Fab.
started the guy who started the MCU.
Yeah. With Fab. So no
Is
longer they're
Blade
going
in
to.
there now? Because I know Blade.
I don't
I don't
know.
think that Disney owns Blade yet, do they?
They don't know because that's
No.
still what
No.
New Line Cinema is that?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
That's over at Warner Brothers.
That's over at Warner's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no longer holding your hand, but to the credit of Max Shatman, this movie you didn't have to see any of the other movies to understand what's going on here.
It's true.
Which was great. I mean, it's a good thing, man. So we all know
Even the
Dan
Silver
Graham,
Surfer, dude. They even like again, my
Silver
mom
Surfer.
she
Yeah.
just knew like what I read and like what my face looked when I was watching the movie. But even she understood what the Silver Surfer did, and broken English, in her broken English understanding of English, she understood that she was the Herald and did this and did that, and she's like, oh, she destroyed somebody, so she's now serving him. And I'm like, wow, mom, like really, like she got it like right away.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
so
and I thought that was a great angle too. That they
The
went with.
interesting thing, Tony, is and the common denominator with everybody is everybody in that film was willing to sacrifice themselves for their family. Silver Surfer was, because she had the flashback of her and her her child, and so and at the end, I'm assuming everyone saw it. So she ends up sacrificing herself, but just before that, Johnny, he was going to sacrifice himself for the family.
Yeah.
So everybody, Sue, she did sacrifice herself for the family.
She literally did sacrifice herself.
Yeah,
that
she
was
did.
awesome. That whole sequence where she overpowered Galactus.
Wasn't that great?
That
it really
was,
gave you some insight to her
cheering.
Power.
Yep.
Yeah, but it gave you some insight to her power.
Yeah, I was cheering too. Here's the thing, and that's why I brought up that part about, I got I know all my comic book experts, my man Jay, and he's probably not on because he probably hasn't saw it yet, so he probably didn't come into the chat room today.
Right.
But he's the comic book guy, and I know he knows how powerful Sue Storm can be. So the fact that they show it, I literally had people question it because they just don't know, because they may not know from the comics, but they're like, how is she overpowering Galactus? And I'm like, yo.
You know what my mom says? She goes, that's a mother's love right there.
Yeah.
It's funny, I'm spending a lot of time with my mother because she's really old. And, besides her church, she doesn't do very much. I spend like 3 days a week with her. And I'm like, Mom, we got to go see this movie. We got to go. Like, if I'm going to be here, we need to go see a movie. It's like, okay, So, but yeah.
But Tony, didn't you get the feel that wasn't just her that wasn't her supernatural power. That was her regular love, the power of love for her.
That was her power of love. Like that was a mother's love for her child, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
because you can see it on her
that was
face. You can
that's
see it on her
yeah.
face. Even when
You
she did it to the fact when she passed out and died, that she gave everything that she had. It was just amazing. Amazing.
When she saw that Reed had the baby, and
That was it.
then
Yes.
Galactus had gone through the wormhole, that's when she's like, okay, everybody's safe.
Yeah.
And because she didn't wake up for Galactus's comeback, and you're like, oh shit, she's dead.
She's
Here
dead.
comes Galactus again.
No, she did die. She didn't pass out. She died.
Yeah, she died, and it's just like when that's the point when he's like,
yeah, she died. But you're like, nothing she could have done.
He's like, Sue, no, it's too much. First thing she said is save our son.
Yeah.
She said to him, save our son.
Save our
she
son.
said that with such, I'm telling you, man, I started to get choked up the way she did that, because I knew at that point, if you didn't realize it, you knew what she was doing. At that point, you knew that she was sacrificing herself.
But again, look at the acting. And again, the one big thing about this movie for me was the acting.
Yeah.
They were really good actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
all of them are really good actors.
But Tony, wouldn't you also agree though? But without a great script, your acting doesn't go far.
Yeah.
You know what? You can be a great actor and take a shitty script and make it good.
It depends. It depends.
Or not. You can take a great script and be a shitty actor and fuck it up.
That's true. I think I always said that it's kind of like, great acting can do well for some of the script, especially the dialogue. But the story cannot
save the story.
It cannot save the story.
The story is the
if
story.
The story is garbage. I don't care how great
acting in the world.
Yeah, the story.
Great acting.
Yeah.
I tell my students all the time.
Yeah.
Great acting will not save your story, but it will make it tolerable. Great acting will make it watchable and tolerable, but it will not save the shitty script, a story. It won't do it.
A story. And I'll give you a perfect example.
And it makes you wonder why these fucking studios, I'm sorry I'm swearing, are greenlighting all this crap.
Yeah, I know. Well, a perfect example is, although I'm not going to say he acted great, because I just think he was held back by the whole script and story, but Aaron Taylor, what's his name? Aaron Taylor Johnson is a good actor, but he was completely held back by that horrible script that they gave him for Kraven. He wasn't a bad Kraven when you just look at him as the character.
It was a horrible script. It was horrible. It was horrible.
It was a horrible,
almost unwatchable.
Yeah, horrible script.
You know what though? The reason I've watched it 2 or 3 times, maybe, is because of him and how good he is.
Exactly.
And also because I respect his workout regimen that he went through to hit that bit.
Yes. No, you're right. And this is what I'm talking about. He was the victim of a terrible script.
CGI was just unwatchable, man.
CGI was almost. I've seen YouTubers do way better.
Yeah.
CGI did what
like
they
I think
did.
when he was on the wall, he was scaling the wall. I don't know how he did it. Just shit like that. Like what is he doing?
Yeah, it was wild.
It's horrible.
But I mean, so with that being said, I agree with both of you. The acting was phenomenal. I don't even want to. It's really hard to like Tony said. It's hard to even really compare them because it's so far ahead of its predecessors, right? The
horrible.
acting.
I told you, Wes. I am the number one Fantastic Four hater in the world. I hate all of them. I hate every one of them. And this made up for all of that. But I hated every Fantastic Four movie. Every one of them. They were horrible. One worse
And
than the other.
yeah, and people want to talk about, oh, Sue Storm shit. I'm like, Vanessa Kirby, that, okay, I'll give you this. Jessica Alba is better looking than Vanessa Kirby, but Vanessa
Yes,
Kirby is
absolutely.
very good looking.
Vanessa Kirby is good looking. I was like,
She
damn,
is.
mom,
She's
she's
very good
really
looking.
pretty, huh?
But okay,
It's
but
like, yeah.
guys, for me, she was a little hard in the face. If you know what I mean. She was just
Hmm.
she was not she had hard lines. I don't know if you guys
Hmm.
caught that. But
Hmm. Hmm.
obviously Jessica Alba, she was younger, she was prettier, she
Hmm.
soft line, soft face. This actress a little hard for me because I'm used to seeing that Jessica Alba, that pretty Sue Storm. To
Hmm.
me, she was okay, but she had hard lines in the face. I don't know if you guys
Hmm.
feel the same way, but she had hard lines for me.
She
Yeah.
was just a really a good looking woman in her 30s.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, you can't hate that. And I was like, wow. And again, it might be because I'm older now, I'm like 60. And I'm like, damn, it's a good looking woman for her 30s.
Well, you know what? Regardless of the fact, once again, I say the same thing. I'll take the little bit less good looking person,
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
acting's not even close. The acting's
yeah.
not even close. Her acting abilities far surpass
Dude, even Jessica
Jessica
Alba's
Alba.
movies on
Oh,
Netflix, her
absolutely. Not
action
no
movie,
no
the last
question.
one she
No
did was
question.
horrible. Like they gave
Yeah,
you
they're
$20
pretty much
million dollars
all.
for that crap? Are
They're
you
pretty
kidding
much
me?
all horrible. She is a mid actor at best.
At
As far
best.
as acting, she got where she got because she's good looking and she's a decent actor, mid at best. You
At
know,
Man,
best, man. At best. At best.
it is what it
I
is.
mean,
You
I mean, you
enjoy
want to be
looking at
honest.
her.
There's a lot of actors in Hollywood that we all know. Okay, I mean, okay, you can act, but on a scale of 1 to 10, you're way down there. You know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
And Alba, to
that
me, she can't transform any role. She could
no,
barely, she just can't do it. She just
nah.
don't have the acting chops.
She
She
does.
doesn't. She doesn't have the acting chops. She's good to look at. She's soft on the eyes, and
Yep.
we'll all watch her. That's why we watch
Yeah.
Halle Berry and Catwoman. Wow, she's
Yeah.
hot. As far as anything else, nah,
The
I'll
story
pass.
was terrible. The story was terrible. But I tell you, so I'll say this. Let's talk about. So we talked about Sue. We talked about Reed. We talked about all of them. Who was your favorite character? We'll get to Galactus as well. And the Surfer. Who was your favorite character though in the film? Tony, we'll start with you. Who was your? If you got to pick one, who was your favorite character and why?
Ben. Ben.
Ben, Ben Grimm. Okay.
The thing, it's funny because even, I mean, I love the beard, like they let him
That
grow
was
the beard,
funny.
but,
Yeah.
the mocap was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, he wasn't self-deprecating. He was accepting of everything. And he always dressed up and he wasn't like, oh, like I don't have this. I loved all the sound effects when he walked. Everything that was Ben, it was Ben. Even when the city folk were like, "Hey, say the line," and he's like, "Oh, that's just in the cartoon. Come on, just say it once." And he's like, "No, I can't. What time is it? It's dinner time. What time is it? Come on, say
Yeah.
it."
Yeah, yeah.
Teasing him. And Johnny just keeps teasing him. It was great. It was great.
So I love the character because even as a pilot, and I mean, he helped deliver the baby. I mean, he was the guy that held the baby
It's
when it was
true.
born. I mean,
Yeah.
like
It's true.
all these things that he did that showed how agile he was,
Hmm.
strong,
Hmm.
gentle. I mean, he had every emotion he could. His facial things that he did. Um, they gave him good lines. I mean, he
Yeah.
really didn't have anything that was a throwaway. And
Yeah.
I think that was a well-rounded character because you always wonder about how they're going to do the thing. They didn't even call him the thing.
No.
Um, he was just Ben,
It's
and
true.
um, and he just he did his thing, and even when he
He
was
did
going
his
to
thing.
space, you're like,
He
oh,
did his
he's made
thing.
he's made
Real
out of
good,
rock.
Tony. He did his thing.
Exactly. But even when he was out in space,
Yeah.
he was going to die. Lack of oxygen. It's like, oh shit, they actually put that in there because they could have just gotten away with it. Like, oh, they'll forgive it. But no, it's like he's going to die out in space, and
Man,
it's just him standing up to Galactus and throwing shit at him and all that. It like I said, I mean, for me,
that is
Ben,
comic accurate,
they
true.
gave him all the cool action. They gave him all the cool lines. They gave him the even when they were putting the baby at the end of the movie in the bassinet in the car seat,
That
and
was
they're
awesome.
fighting, and they're like at
That
the end
shit
he's
was
kind of
great.
figured it out.
Yeah.
And they're running away. They're like, they got called an emergency. He's the guy pushing the stroller.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like he becomes that baby's protector. Like,
Yeah.
he's the guy that's
And
going to
just
be
like,
there.
I mean, for me, it was Ben. And it just, I'm not going to say he stole the movie because it was a well-rounded ensemble. But
Yeah.
I was disappointed at the end with just the mask of Robert Downey Jr. It probably wasn't even him. And
It wasn't
teasing
him.
the kidnapping of Franklin.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
So I was just, but my mom was like, wait, why is the baby alone? Where's Ben?
Where's Ben?
Well, he doesn't live with him.
Even she thought, where's Ben?
No, because they all live together. They all live
They all live there. They live in the back.
tower.
Yeah. So who was your favorite, Bruce? I was about to call you Ben.
Well, as long as you don't call me the Thing. So listen, so for me, it's an easy call. I agree with Tony. It by far it was Ben, because they humanized him so much, which again, it's you almost forget, you get lost in the rocks, the fact that he was a human being. But we never see that full side of him as a human being. The only thing we ever got was how much he hates being a rock guy, and how self-deprecating he is, how depressed he is, and how unloved he is, how ugly he is. And you really, his humanity shone through, and I love that fact. It made me say, like, I was learning so much. That's the one character that I kept learning about through the whole movie. Everyone else, you kind of know, they kind of stick to the script, if you will. But Ben, I think they paid special attention to him to humanize him. And one, because don't forget, he was a human being. I mean, he's still a human. He's just in different form. He's still inside. He's a human being. And we forget that. We think that he's some alien. He's not an alien. He was a human being. And that is what came through. And as Tony was saying, he was the one delivering the baby. He was the one pushing the carriage, holding the baby all the time, protector. He basically was the protector of the group. He was the protector of the group, the emotional protector, and I was learning so much about this guy. You're cheering for him. You're cheering for him. Even when he goes into the church to say goodbye to the girl that he kind of was falling for.
Did you notice they went from the black girl to the redhead? I'm like, oh, okay. He went from black to ginger. Ginger's okay. That's not bad.
But the fact that he was confident enough in being human that he's going to go in there and take his shot. I love that fact, because normally I thought they were going to write it where he goes up
in the street before that.
Yeah, but
when they were talking about the cookies that he used to steal.
But I thought that he was going to go to the church door, see her, and turn around.
Walk away.
That's the old Ben Grimm. The old Ben Grimm would not have gone into that church. And I like the fact that he went in with confidence, because he's loved by everybody. Everyone's like, oh, look at this guy. The kids loved him. Everyone loved him, and because his humanity always shone through his exterior. So for me, it's Ben Grimm, for sure. And even
Yeah.
What
his
about
name,
you, sir?
Grim. You know, the
Yeah.
this the paradox between his name, Grim, meaning sadness, deprecating and ugly and sad
Hmm.
situation. The fact that they turned that around and he
Yeah.
wasn't grim. He was a happy guy, and I love that fact.
Yeah. I think I'll
Yeah.
go with for it's my favorite. It's funny. I almost I almost like them all equally, but I would have to go for the trifecta and say Ben was my favorite character because he probably made me smile the most throughout the movie.
Yeah,
With his actions and his talk and his his lines. But it's very very close. I loved how Sue Storm was. She was very much one of my favorites as well. And I have to give props to Pedro Pascal because he made me a believer. I now am confident that Pedro Pascal, as Reed Richards, can go on to do the Reed Richards type of things that they need him to do because he's pretty much going to lead everybody against Doom at the end of the day.
yeah.
So um, I'm confident in that. But I
I
tell
got a
you,
question for you guys. In that scene where Galactus was stretching him, did anybody get any flashbacks to that toy in the 80s?
Yes, of course,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course. How could you
yeah.
not? How
Oh
could you
man, of
not?
course you have to. And that was,
Stretch
I tell
something. They
you,
were like,
that
and he was
was
having fun with them. He was
he was
like,
having fun with it. He had like a smile on
he
his
was
face.
messing with them.
Yeah,
But
he
you
was messing
saw
with him.
him starting to be ripping
Stretch
apart
Armstrong,
too.
Stretch
Yep, he
Armstrong.
was starting to
He
rip.
kept doing the Stretch Armstrong with them. They're like, oh,
Yep, he was starting to rip. The
He was starting
clothes
to rip
started
apart.
ripping. Yeah, and that was, and
yeah,
then I
Stretch
love
Armstrong
how
style.
when he dropped
Yeah,
him and he falls, he was still like flimsy when he fell and hit the ground. It's like
yeah,
he had to get himself back together, no pun intended. But
yeah. I mean, they
uh,
were stretching it a bit.
yeah, it was a bit of a stretch.
It was a
But
bit of a
but
stretch.
you know what I also thought about was in the multiverse of madness when Wanda popped the other dude like a damn
Yeah,
what's that called, a pinata. When he
yeah,
popped his head like a pinata, she stretched him out. He stretched out and he popped.
yeah,
Oh, she
But
did. She did.
yeah,
yeah,
she popped his head like a pinata. But I have to say this: what I love the Silver Surfer. I love the Silver Surfer and what they did with her. And they did you notice that they kind of poked fun at the other ones by Johnny being obsessed with her being separated from the board. Remember, he kept saying, "So
yeah,
is the board part of your body?" Or
yeah, 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 yeah,
remember in the Rise of the Silver Surfer, they made the board so significant to his power, which was
yeah,
bullshit. That's
yeah.
not, that's not where his power comes from. He has the
Right,
power cosmic. Why would he power come from the board? He made the board. The board was
right,
made from the power cosmic. He
right,
could have
right.
very well been the silver, the silver skater. It could have been skate. It could have been.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just the
yeah,
surfboard is cooler, I guess. That's
yeah.
what
He had no power without his surfboard, which was crazy.
that was crazy. So it's to me, I looked at that as a little bit of a shot at the other one, like because he kept saying, "Well," and then after she got knocked off her surfboard, he's like, "Okay, note to self, not part of her powers." Like
Right, right,
like
right,
he
right,
kind of says, like, "Okay, so the surfboard is not part of her body," you
right.
know. And it was just great because it was multifaceted. Johnny, everyone was expecting him to be this, quips, 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 quips. They didn't go that route with him, but he was still funny in parts. And like we said, you had to make
Probably
room
not the
for
best
the
actor
intelligence.
out of the entire bunch, but he did okay.
Mhm. Right. But I think that they had to make room for the intelligence of
Yeah,
Johnny Storm not like Bruce said earlier, not concentrate on him being this, skirt chasing,
What other Fantastic Four movie showed Johnny's intelligence? What
none
other
of them.
one? None of them.
None
None
of
of them.
them.
None of them.
None of them.
This is the first look we got to say, oh, this guy's pretty smart. He's not only he's pretty smart, but they all were smart. They all when they was working, when they was trying to solve the problem, they all were pitching in. Johnny wasn't somewhere, on a porn site or something.
They were all definitely a team. Even you guys haven't brought it up, Herbie.
Yeah,
nobody's brought up Herbie.
Yeah. Herbie was dope.
I love Herbie.
Yeah,
he was very integral to the whole story.
He was integral
when Herbie was entertaining the baby during the big battle. That was hilarious. He was dancing around, doing the whole thing.
Right.
And I love how when they went to space, he changed his programming from home to space. He's like, now we're going to space, so he changed the programming because that's a whole nother. I guess he's got a whole nother skill set, right?
I tell you, the attention to detail in this film is fucking astounding to me.
It was
the attention to detail.
And they told the whole story in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That they were able to do that. I wanted more. I wanted it longer.
Well, I told you, Wes, when I left, I said, shit, I wanted more. I wanted more.
Yeah.
But they...
Bruce, did you see it the same day twice, or did you wait they go back? I saw it twice the same day.
I
wanted to see it with my wife. I thought we got to go kind of the next day, but then we got busy. But I always watch movies by myself because I don't want anyone talking to me. I don't want anybody making any noise. I don't want anybody eating chips in my ear, or I don't want to hear anything. Yeah. I'm so into it. I've got to go by myself at the first showing when there's nobody there but me. I've got to watch it there because I'm looking at everything. I'm listening to everything. Let me ask you a question, Tony. I asked Wes this. Did you see the homage to Kirby anywhere in there?
No.
Wes, tell him.
Yeah, this was the part where what exact scene was it where they showed an artist
in the studio. They were in the studio.
They were in the studio
for about 2 seconds.
2 seconds, and you saw artwork.
You saw the comics on the wall.
That.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
I caught that the first. So wait, how many times did you see it, Tony?
You saw it
3 times.
Yeah, he saw it 3 times.
I saw it back to back, and the third time I went to see it with my mom.
Yeah,
and you didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, they had that. That was nice.
What though? That is a movie that you could watch over and over again. That's true. Like, here's the thing. True. I the one thing I will say about Superman, that's going to be the movie that I'll watch only my favorite scenes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. With this one, I can watch the whole thing over and over again. Like it'll be one of those movies I can watch. It'll be in the movie. It'll be in the cable halfway through, and I'll watch it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. And on top of that, there was actually 2. Then at the end they paid homage to him because that's what they named the Earth after his birthday, 828. Earth 828. Yeah,
that's Kirby's. Right. That's Kirby's. That's Kirby's birthday.
Yeah, 828. Yep.
There's a lot of details in there that
I always say that there's always people out there that know more than I do.
Huh? What'd you say?
I always say there's people out there that know more than I do.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what. But they literally at the very end
they highlighted it in the credits.
They highlighted it. They said Earth 828. They said dedicated to Jack Kirby. 828, and then they put the slashes in there. August 28th. Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And then they put the slashes in there. That's what the Earth was. I mean, it was chock full of Easter eggs, though.
Yeah,
it really was.
It was a good movie. I mean, there's really finding holes in it. It's hard. Like I said, I wish there would have been because I saw like when I texted you, Wes, and I wanted to
Yeah.
call and you weren't picking up the phone.
I wasn't picking up because I was like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it.
I was actually that day I was watching a lot of spoilers, so I knew a lot of the shit. But there was one that was out there on the internet, and it was literally they were saying it was like a scene between Doctor Doom and Galactus, and movie theater, the whole thing, and they were saying that it was part of the movie, and I'm like, oh shit. And literally, like, they meet and they go through their bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, you're without your Infinity Glove. Does that make you a god still? It's like, I don't need my glove. And he's got his sword and he runs after Doom, and Doom's got the glove and he just picks him up and splits him in half. And you're like, oh shit, and the theater goes crazy. So I don't know if this was something that they did in the screenings.
I don't know if they did that at screenings at all. That might have been. You sure that wasn't like AI? They've been doing a lot of AI stuff out there.
You can't even tell the difference anymore.
Literally somebody's video camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But they also been doing. You can also
recorded off a theater because you could see like everything moving. I was just like, wow, is that it? Because I was really hoping to see that somewhere. It's like they need to introduce Doom, not him talking to the baby. And it's like, okay, now you know what's going to happen. He's going to kidnap Franklin.
It's setting up Doomsday, and it makes you wonder.
That's how the Fantastic Four end up on the different Earth, because they're looking for Franklin because Doom kidnaps him.
Doom kidnaps him. So that kind of explains the last from the Thunderbolts end credit scenes when they see the Fantastic Four's ship into their atmosphere. So you know that they're looking for Franklin.
Exactly.
There's a lot of theories. I'm gonna get to Doom in a minute. I see Ralph joined in. I'm gonna get to Doom in a minute, and
by the way, guys, I have to bail at 6:30, so I do apologize.
Oh yeah. 6:30 Pacific time.
6:30 Pacific time. Yeah.
No problem. We'll be wrapping up by then anyway. Since you mentioned Doom anyway, so there's a couple of theories on Doom. We still don't know exactly which way they're going to tackle it, but it's obvious that this Doom is not from that Earth. That's what I see, because you heard at the end credits, you heard the little like he came in, but it was probably his little time door that he has. I don't think he's from this Earth. I believe he came there looking for Franklin because he knew about him, maybe ran into him in another reality or a timeline, or heard about him somehow. Because think about this, as we know, they're kind of backtracking.
Like his henchman.
Yeah, well, ultimately he would be, because he manipulates him.
Yeah.
See, the thing about Doom, and where I think Robert Downey is going to do well with Doom, is it's like we always say, the best villain is the hero of their own story.
That's
Doom is a very complicated, complex villain. He thinks he's doing right. He thinks he is
all
best.
Super villains believe they're doing right. The best ones always believe they're doing right. Remember, the only difference between the hero and the villain is perspective.
Perspective. That's it.
They both believe they're saving the world. They both believe they're saving the world, even by destroying it.
Even by destroying, Doom is more, he's always, when you look at him from the historical standpoint, from the comics and so forth, he's always been that one that, he's one of those dudes, man, that, like I said, he feels that he is best qualified to save the planet, even
by any means necessary.
By any means necessary, exactly. And that is the difference. That's what makes him feel, and he will do These make the best villains. Him,
Yeah, they
you know,
do.
Thanos, Magneto. You know, Magneto has his. You know, Magneto is that guy. That's yo. This is what I feel. The
Yeah,
humans are always going to destroy, and they're going to destroy mutants.
we got to get
So
rid of them. Yeah.
we got it. We have to be. We are above them. Whatever. This is his thing, right? He feels that he's. But at the end of the day, he is always looking out for his kind,
His
for
kind. Yeah.
mutants, right? Even if you take the old school one when uh I forgot which one it was. I guess it was X-Men 3, which is the worst one of the worst ones. But there was a scene in there where one of Magneto's henchmen kind of made fun of Charles Xavier dying, and he almost got jacked up.
He almost
Like
got, yeah.
he said, "What?" He said, "No, Charles."
Guys,
He's like,
I got a question.
uh,
I'm parked in front of Burlington Coat Factory,
uh,
and for the last hour, having seen all these really hot women walk out of there, and a group of girls just walked out of there. And I'm like, what's so hot about Burlington Coat Factory? I'm like, wow.
Guess you have to walk in there and find out.
Guess you got to find out, Tony.
Go in
I'm
there.
like,
Yeah,
a
what
group
the
of
hell do
girls
they need
just walked
coats
out of
for?
there and
What
jumped
do they
into
need
like
coats in California?
a jacked up 4x4 Jeep, and they were all hot.
You sure they're not
Yeah.
casing the joint?
Dude, I just wanted to find a place with shade so I could do this thing.
Yeah.
I found a tree, and it just happens to be in front of Burlington Coat Factory. So, guys, I guess Burlington Coat Factory is a great place for hot women right now.
Hey, I guess
Guess
so.
so.
I
Since
guess
when do
so.
you guys wear
I'm
coats in
single,
California?
so I'm
I
always
was
looking.
saying, what you need coats for in California? I
Yeah,
don't know.
since when do you guys wear coats in California?
Oh, dude, at 60 degrees, the people are wearing coats. Are you kidding me?
I know, you gotta be kidding me.
God.
It's
Oh,
hilarious.
God.
So, with that being said, before we wrap up or anything, I don't know if Ralph is available. I know he jumped on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Just give us your thoughts on the film before we wrap up. We kind of did some breaking down of it and stuff like that.
I don't know if y'all gonna like it. I don't know.
Probably not.
Hey,
Probably
it's
not.
Oh,
all
the
good.
evil
I
bot is
got
back.
Ralph
I'll say,
Malfi's in the house.
no, don't do that. I'll say it like this. Once again, it was entertaining. I was highly entertained. However, I had some issues, and it was an issue. Also, an issue that the people in my theater thought of too. My first problem is that, and maybe it is not fair to compare the movie to the one that Jessica Alba was in. However, for
Really
this, I
is.
will. For this, I will. I did not feel that any of the four of them really liked each other. I did not feel like
What?
a genuine.
What?
No, I
Oh
didn't.
my God! What universe are you? Are you like on planet like 221 or what?
No,
What is,
I put it like
what
this:
is happening?
the one that
What is
Jessica
happening?
Alba, the one that
Seriously?
Jessica Alba was in, yes, the one that Jessica Alba was in, right? You really felt that she really loved Reed Richards. She was pissed at him for the way they broke up, but that she really loved
What?
him, and he genuinely
What?
loved her. I did
What?
not get that feeling from them.
We just
I
finished
didn't get.
talking about how bad an actress she was and how horrible she was in that movie.
I'm not. It ain't the fact that she was a horrible actress, but I believed that she did like him. I believe it. I didn't get that from this cast. The guy that
What?
played Johnny didn't
What?
like. He said, "Well, I could turn on. It's no big deal." He like Chris Evans when he did Johnny. He was excited for that he could turn the fire and he could fly. He seemed excited. This guy was like,
Well, you got to remember. Wait, but Ralph, I'm gonna say this. First of all, remember, Chris Evans, when we saw Chris Evans, we're seeing them get their powers for the first time. They're
Agreed.
4 years into their powers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He's not going to be flying
Agreed.
Why
around
would you
being
be
so
excited?
excited.
Like I
But
said,
still,
Ralph's the evil bot. That's the evil
but
bot.
still, I did not believe that they actually had real chemistry, right?
You're
The second,
bugging.
the second
Wow,
thing,
man.
the
What?
second thing that
Are
I
we
said
having the
to Joe,
same Wow.
Are we
Okay.
talking about the same movie?
Yes,
Okay,
we are.
make your other point. Yeah.
The second thing that I said is that once again, the whole thing with Galactus, that you making me believe that these four could beat this guy that's like 600 something tall. They could beat him, but
They outsmarted him. They outsmarted him.
But it took an entire legion of people to beat Thanos without the rings. Okay, I know there's all comic book accuracy and all that stuff, but I just didn't. I just was like, nah. And the third thing that came up that I didn't even I didn't even think of, but the guys that were there said is that the movie really didn't showcase Richard Reed's powers. It showcased him being smart, yes, but as far as his power ability, but as far as his stretching ability. But see,
he's the world's smartest man.
That's
his power.
I have been listening to other people, other bloggers, movie critics saying the same thing, that they really didn't showcase his power, his stretching ability, right?
They showed it though. They showed it. I mean, how much you want? I mean, do we want to see him? I mean, because we didn't see him dancing, stretching and dancing like that nonsense they did in the other movie.
I don't. No, I can't say that. But that
every group needs to have a sour apple, so it's okay. After we just finished loving this movie,
I did not say that. The theater I saw the movie with said that. The guys that was in it said that. So that didn't come from me. That came from them. And
so what do you think? Here's the deal. What do you think, then?
What do you think?
I thought the movie was good. It was good. It was okay. But it was just okay to me. It was.
With all of that being said, Ralph. With all that being said, Ralph, here's a perfect. I'm glad you said that because this makes what I'm about to say perfect. This is why, Ralph, that they make movies for comic
book people.
Yeah, and about
Thank you very much.
No, bro. I thought about our conversation last week when I said that. So I did a little looking, right? Do you guys actually know what the best-selling comic book actually is?
The best-selling comic. I don't buy comic books anymore, so I can't tell you.
But do you actually know what the best-selling, like first, not line, not Superman line?
You're gonna probably say Archie. You're gonna probably say Archie or Casper.
No.
What?
It's actually X-Men Volume 1, number 1.
Okay.
At 6.2 million copies. Right?
Okay.
At $1.95, that equates to sales of $18 million. $18 million. That's what you comic book fans generated to the original X-Men. $18 million. The movie grossed $400 million. So
we're back to this, Ralph. It's apples and oranges.
Ralph. You're talking apples and oranges.
It's apples and oranges.
You're
talking about buying a comic book for $1.95.
Right. And back then,
Ralph,
it was less than that. It was less than that.
Yeah, 50 cents.
$1.95. It was
okay, Ralph, you're talking about an item for $1.95 compared to a movie in IMAX for $25.
Yeah.
That's what you're comparing.
You can't compare that. The bottom line is here is a perfect example. If there is a specific, I told you that works with just everything. It's not just comic book fans. I can't tell you the last time that I spent money seeing a rom-com. You know why, Ralph? Because I'm not a fan of rom-coms.
Right.
But guess what? Rom-coms still make a lot of money, even without my contribution, because they have a fan base that people follow, right? So my point is this. Comic book movies is a genre, and it has a core fan base that's going to support it.
Once again, I'm going to say this to you guys, understand it. What I keep saying is that my problem is when comic book fans think the movie is made specifically for them. Just them.
It is.
It's made for them because they are comic book movie fans. This is what I'm trying to tell. This is where you're missing the point, Ralph.
No,
You
you guys
make
are
a
missing the
comic
point.
book movie now. Granted, they're going to add nuances and things like that. That's going to expand it, mostly because it makes sense to do it as a
Wait,
film, or it
hold
could
on,
be
Wes. Hold on,
rights.
Wes. I'm just curious because I love Ralph. He gets me thinking. He gets me reconsidering me being a professor of film sometimes. So let me ask you a question, Ralph.
Shoot.
Let me ask you a question. The film Sin City, who was that made for?
I honestly can't answer that question because I honestly, when I saw the movie, I didn't know it was a comic book. I just went to see it because I saw Bruce Willis and Jessica Alba. I went to see it because of who was in it, not because it was a comic book adaptation. Same thing with 300. The same thing with The Road to Perdition. I didn't see them because they were comic book movies, and even Blade.
Well, okay, wait. You may not have seen them because, but there are the 99 out of the 100 other people appreciate, and that's where the appreciation comes from. That's what creates the comic book fans. They want to see what they've followed in comics,
All
and
their
they are
lives.
so excited when it is adapted to film. You just happen to say, "Hey, I want to check it out," but that's good because there's room for you. There's room for you there. But that film was not made for you. That film was made for comic book fans. You happen to watch it and enjoy it, but it was not made for you, my friend. It was made for comic book fans.
I'm gonna say this again. What I said was what I have the problem with is when comic book fans seem to think the movie is made exclusively for them. Exclusively, not that it's made with them in mind. That the movie's made
Well,
with them.
if it's made with them in mind, Ralph, it's made for them. It's made for the comic book fans. Because if it wasn't for the comic book fans, the film would have never been made.
Sorry. What I keep saying is it's not made exclusively. Like it has to meet your personal criteria. It's not.
I think you're going a little too far with that. Because the whole idea of a film studio is to make money, and the more asses in the seats, the more money they make. That's their goal. Let's not get crazy. But no, let's not get crazy.
But let's not get wild about it.
Let's not get crazy. When you say exclusively,
let me ask you guys a question.
There's so many people that got different tastes.
But all the times, and I just got into 2 conversations this weekend about Fantastic Four, and the 2 guys that had a conversation really felt that Fantastic Four was made specifically for them and them only, like it was supposed to be their vision.
That's what they said to you.
Ralph, yes, Ralph, Ralph, you sound like a comic book fan left you at the altar or something. You're very bitter about this.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm gonna go. You guys have fun with Ralph.
But Ralph, forget about that.
But
Ralph, forget about that. Let's talk about the film. I want your perspective on the film, not about the marketing and the audience. I want your perspective on other things.
Hold on. I was trying to tell AJ it's gonna be in LA in 3 weeks. Now he's going.
Okay. Well, I'll let him know.
Let me ask you guys. How many times have you guys been to a movie theater and they play the trailers, and you hear this from the acclaimed novel, from the best-selling book, and no one's ever heard of the book? Now there are people out there that have heard of the book, but do movie studios make the film adaptation strictly for the people that read the book, or
not
do they make
strictly for, but within mind? Like all the Stephen King movies, you know who sees them a lot? Stephen King fans, those who read the novel.
Once again,
that's a selling point. If that wasn't the case, they wouldn't use it as a selling point.
But I am willing to concede that the Stephen King movies are made with the Stephen King fans in line, but it's not made exclusively just for the Stephen King fans. It's not.
But nobody makes anything just for a certain people.
For one thing. But here's the deal. I'll say this then. I'll agree with you on that, and I'll say this. But the movie, it's fair to say that the movie probably wouldn't have never been made if it wasn't for that particular fan base.
Maybe not.
There you go. So then, then you can say that they're pretty much making it. They're gonna make a comic book film, especially Marvel, because Kevin Feige has already said out his own mouth that the reason why he started the MCU is because he worked on other Marvel films that did not adhere to, follow the source material and stuff like that, such as the X-Men, right? And he felt it's doing a big disservice to it. He also obviously heard complaints from the fans, from the fan base that this stuff come from. You can't make a move. This is why you get so much complaints from the quote unquote from the comic book fans because you can't make a movie or you shouldn't make a movie based on something of a source material and don't follow source material. So you have to make the movie with that main base in mind for it to sustain. You can make a movie now based on a comic and make money, but it doesn't mean it's going to stand the test of time.
And Ralph, who do you think is going to say?
Wait, stop. Wes, I am firmly in agreement with what you just said, but even in your statement, you're still backing up what I said when I said the thing about the Stephen King thing. If studios make Stephen King movies with the Stephen King fans and with the Stephen King author fans, but they make it for regular people and they listen to them and they put it there, then why would you have the big problem saying that comic movies aren't made for the comic fans? It's made for anybody with the comic book fans in mind, but it's not.
No, you're wrong on that.
You almost like are contradicting yourself in one sentence.
No, I am not.
You are, because you're saying it's not made for comic book fans, but it's made for them
exclusively.
Okay, so but here's the deal. You're talking exceptions, not the rule.
Right.
You're talking about a couple of people that ran into that said that they feel the film should have been made exactly the way they wanted it to.
Stop it. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I've been going to Comic-Con since 2008. It's now 2025. This what I just said last week. This is not something because one or two people have said it. I have gotten that over the years of me going to comic book conventions from fans that stand in the line on opening night, the day before opening night, that go to the midnight showings and buy the DVDs and all this stuff. This is not something that I'm just making up because
you're saying that these fans are actually saying what I believe.
Did you not hear me tell the story I said last week about the two guys that got into the argument about how the Superman shaved? And they said, well, my Superman. It's not your Superman. The movie isn't made for you. It's made for everybody.
Okay, Ralph.
I'm sure that they have
Ralph,
in
this
mind
is your same,
that
but Ralph, this is your same argument. Every discussion, let's talk about the dynamics of the film itself, not the audience, not the market, not the sales.
I already told you.
No.
I did not believe that Sue and all the characters had actual chemistry with each other. It to me is like they were just there in the moment, right? And I said, and then I said,
what made you believe that though?
Yeah, I think that's totally wrong. Totally off.
I just didn't.
Give me a specific scene that felt like they didn't have chemistry.
The dinner scene. I didn't really feel like there was like some type of camaraderie. And even in the beginning when the two of them were talking, when she said when I'm pregnant, it was kind of and then his reaction was like, oh, okay. It didn't seem like there was like an excitement, like, oh my god, she's pregnant, like wow, like. And I'm thinking,
once again, that now, Ralph, I'm gonna keep it real with you. That comes from you not knowing the character and how he.
But I know the fact of a guy. Most guys, when their girl is telling,
we're not talking about the guy, Ralph. We're talking about this guy. We're talking about the character, not the guy.
Then that's why.
That's where your issue comes in, because that is how Reed Richards would react. He is a logic first person.
The entire story itself was built upon the premise and plot of the power of family. The power of family. The whole plot circles and embraces that theme, Ralph. We cannot overcome this obstacle, this huge Galactus, without the power of family. And each one of those family members were willing to sacrifice themselves for each other.
And,
Yeah, each
even
one
that,
of them.
even that scene too, where Sue died, and they were kind of like, I didn't feel like there was any real emotion at the fact that she just died. It was like,
What do you mean? Pedro Pascal was literally dropping tears on her.
He was crying. He was crying on her.
Not all of them. Not the guy that was supposed to be her brother. He's just standing there, and
he wasn't just standing there. What are you talking about?
It just
First of
did not.
all, yeah, okay, that's
It just did not
what you
seem to
saw.
me.
That is
to
definitely
me.
not what I saw, and mostly everyone I talked to didn't see that either. The family dynamic in this film is what shined through. The family, the fact that they were willing to sacrifice themselves for each other, especially the baby. That we talked about it before you logged on.
Now
Ben
wait. Now
Grimm,
that
Ben
part
Grimm,
that was
the hardest person. Ben Grimm was seen most with the baby. When the baby came, he was always holding the baby. He was pushing
Now
him in
that
the
was the
stroller.
one part that I did believe when Sue really went to the limit with her powers, because now once again, even though I don't know the character, I know women. Women will build their lives when you start fucking with their kid, and that's what she did. She said, "No, you're not messing with my kid." So that part, I believed it that she was standing there in front of me right that second. That's what Sue Storm, of actual female, was really in front of me. She would do that. She would give
Ralph,
up
I
her
have a
life
personal
for her
question
kid.
for you.
Once
Ralph,
again,
I have a personal question for you. Hold on, Wes. Ralph, I have a personal question for you.
Shoot.
Are you married or have ever been married?
Yes, I have.
Do you have children?
I don't have natural children. I have godchildren. I have three godchildren and 6 grandchildren.
Okay, so the reason why I would assume that movie would resonate with a family man like yourself would be the family dynamic. And that movie revolved the whole story plot. It wasn't about superpowers. It was about the dynamic of family and sacrifice. And that, as a family man, should have shown clearly through to you. Whether you like the film or not doesn't matter. But that dynamic was clear as a bell, my brother. The power of love and the power of family.
I want to point out one thing in specific when we talk about the character of Reed Richards. Perfect example. Later in the film, when they come up with the plan to use Franklin as bait, right? Perfect example. This is a Reed Richards decision. He is a logic person first, right? And even though he didn't want to admit that's what he came up with, it took Sue.
It was the only option. It was the only option.
It was the only option. Logically, it was the only option, right? And Sue knew that. That's why she kind of got him to say it, right? But the emotion came out of her, and he didn't want to say it because he didn't want to upset her. But he knew, he had thought that long time ago. We're gonna have to use him as bait. Even though you saw Johnny and Ben was like, no, that's a crazy plan. Like, that's a dumb plan. Like, no, we don't want to use that. We don't want to do that. That's your son. Reed Richards is a logical thing. I went into this before you logged on. There is, something that they'll probably implement it in the next film. We thought it might get it this film. There is something from the comics, because we're dealing with the multiverse, right? And Reed Richards is one of those guys who, cracked the multiverse. He did what Stark did on their side. He's done it too. And there is a little thing that he created called the Council of Reeds, right? It's different versions of Reed Richards from different parts of the multiverse, and they meet in this little multiversal pocket, and they talk and they discuss things. They're all logic first, right? Very, very, very not cold, but shut off from emotion because it's all about logic. And he says in the line that he says in here, he has to think the worst so he can figure it out so everyone else doesn't have to live it, right? This is Reed Richards. So you making a statement saying you didn't like the way he reacted to her saying she's pregnant just really shows that you don't know the character. And that's okay. That's okay. Once again, that supports my statement of them making the film for the fan base, because the fan base really knows that that is a natural reaction for Reed Richards.
I'm not disagreeing with what you just said, but you keep leaving that word when I use the word exclusive. I'm not sitting there that these guys go out there and make comic book movies without taking any notions or notes or cues or wants of the fans. I am not saying that. What I'm simply saying is that what irks me is when I hear fans feel like these movies are made exclusively just for them. Like Superman was just made for us Superman fans, or Blade was just made for us Blade fans. No, it's not. It's not.
I mean, it's not. If you want to talk about exclusively, I mean, but I'll say this: there's nothing that's exclusively made for anything. But
anything.
It's fair to say that without the fan base, we may not have ever gotten the film. So the fan base
that is a fair argument.
Yeah, that's a fair argument.
Let me
the
ask
fan
you this.
base is fairly. So I'll say this. I will agree with you and say it's not exclusive, but I will say this: the fan base of whatever you're making is of more importance, a little bit, than the average film goer, because you're making the film because of the fan base. You're making the film because of that.
I don't really agree with that, but that's your opinion. I don't share that opinion. But I did take this in consideration after we talked last week when we was talking about the fan base. And in retrospect, the fans were the ones that it so happened that Veronica Mars was on. The fans are the ones that put up the money to convince Warner Brothers to make a Veronica Mars movie. The fans did that. Right.
So, now, if they would have made a movie that wasn't true to the characters of Veronica Mars or something like that, you think the fan base, you think that movie would have did it?
They would have rejected it. They would have rejected it.
Well, that for that movie, that's not your best argument, because the movie still didn't do nothing with the fans. But in retrospective, what you said, the fans spoke up and they really wanted to run the Mars. They put their money. I know the fans even had the thing going to bring Firefly back. They were willing to put up their money, so I'm willing to concede that. But once again, all I'm keep saying,
and only the fan base is going to do that, Ralph. The average movie goer isn't doing that. They're not putting money up to that.
What I'm always going to say is simply that, and when I talk about the fan base, is the word exclusive. I have no problem with Spielberg going out there tomorrow and making the next Spider-Man and taking and keeping it accurate for to appease the comic book fans. But when the comic book fans say, "Yeah, that's not my Spider-Man," and frankly, you guys have said this all the time when we were talking about Man of Steel, when they were saying my Superman wouldn't kill anybody.
Those are fanatics. They're not fans. They're fanatics. Right. Don't forget, I told you last week, the word "fan" is short for fanatic. So you're talking about the extreme. You're talking about a few of the extreme, but I want to say this. I have a question for you.
Yeah,
I got a question for you. Right, I got a question for you. Sure. Only now, did you see the other Fantastic Four movies?
I saw the two with Jessica Alba and the one with Michael B. Jordan. I just thought it was terrible, and I just turned it off because I thought it was terrible.
So just so you know,
I never saw the Corman one.
Just so you know, only fans would go. I saw all three of them. Only fans, and I hate it. I am the number one. I told Wes this. I am the number one Fantastic Four hater in the world. I hated all three of them. They were all horrible movies. But only a comic book fan would go to the fourth one after being disappointed by a series, a certain film, a title of a film, 3 times, and then you got to say, "I'm going
almost
again."
Worse every time.
Worse every time. One film worse than the other. Only a comic book fan would go back and say, "I'm gonna go for it again. I'm gonna go for it again."
Well, wait.
Now, if you're a regular person, if you're just a regular, like you say, just a regular person who just likes to go to movies.
No, I can't say, because I'm a regular person. I said,
you have some knowledge of comic books, don't you? You've got some knowledge of them.
No, not really. I was not a comic book fan. I am aware of certain comic book characters. Yes, I am. I'm aware of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Yes, but when it comes to a lot of the other ones, I was not like I said, I did not know that Blade was a comic book guy. I just knew it was a
Okay.
Wesley Snipes movie. So
Okay.
now if you guys sit there, even what you just said, you said that only a fan would go see the fourth movie. I would disagree. I said it depends on who was in it. If there was somebody in it that you watched their movies, you would go see it. Matter of fact, I was talking to an actor on Saturday. He said the main reason Fantastic Four is going to do well is because Pedro Pascal is hot right now, so he's going to draw in his crowd.
Well,
Now,
he's definitely
Yeah.
is definitely a
Well,
reason why
he's
you
definitely
why you
drawing.
cast him. Yeah.
That's
now
the studios are not stupid. The studios are not
but
stupid. They got to go get the hottest actor that could do it.
Exactly.
now if
And
John,
the
if
comic
John,
book
if
fans
John,
complained.
right, right,
The comic book
if
fans
John
complained
Krasinski,
about that casting,
but
right?
if John Krasinski or Krasinski was his name, if he was
Yeah.
playing Reed Richards, I might be more tempted to. I would probably be tempted because I'm a fan of his series,
Of
so
his
I would
work.
go see it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, if there was some brand new newcomer in there playing it, maybe I'm a little less inclined to go see it because I don't know him, and there is a bad
So it
taste in my
depends on the
mouth from the last.
circumstances.
It
But
depends on
a fan would
circumstances.
Okay.
see it regardless of who's cast there.
No, yeah,
Like a
right.
super fan will go see it, doesn't matter who's cast there. So
That is
what you're
where
saying is the
comic
average
book
guy
fans come
right,
in.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
So
Because
that's where it
We don't
depends
care
on
who's in it.
the
See it.
circumstances.
no, and
Well,
I even
I'm gonna end
and I
it.
still disagree with the fact when you guys say fans come out because listen, look, I paid my money to go see Judge Dredd, and it was garbage with Stallone. I didn't pay my money, and most people didn't pay their money to go see Dredd, but we all saw it on Blu-ray or
Right,
down the line at Blockbuster, and everybody loved it. The fans didn't come out to support it. Regular people didn't come out to support it. Why? Because the last movie was so damn bad. It was like, and they just thought it was going to be a rehash of what you already saw. It's completely different. It's gritty as hell.
right. The thing is this, and like I said, we can go down the line of exceptions to the rule, but the thing is this: I will grant you. Okay, no movie is exclusively made for anybody. Okay, exclusively. However, of a certain genre of film is, especially if it's based on a source material such as a book, whether it be comic book, novel, video game, whatever type of medium it's based off of, but it's based off of IP that already exists. The reason why that movie is even getting greenlit is because there is a fan base for that IP that already exists. So with that being said,
I don't
with,
disagree with that.
right. So
I
with
don't
that
disagree
being
with that.
said, the fan movies, whereas they may not be exclusively for the fans, the movie maker feels confident enough to make the film because they know if no one else goes to see it, the fans more than likely will. So
And I don't,
that's
and once
that. So
again,
there you
I
go.
don't. But once again, I don't disagree with that. Like I
So
said,
that's what I'm saying. That is not exclusive, but the fan base is definitely considered more than the non-fan base because you have no data to think that a fan base is going to and then what you do for the non-fan base people of the IP, you start casting their favorite actors. Then that's how you get them to come. That's how you consider them to come because you just said it. If it was a no name as Reed Richards, you might have been less pressed to see it. But maybe if someone else, whether it was Krasinski or Pedro Pascal or anyone else, right, that you kind of like as an actor, you might be more inclined to go watch it, right? So that's how you catch the non fans, right? The non comic or non IP fans. However, you only consider to make this film because you know that there is a certain group of people that are going to support this film. And then you hope that the others people support it. So with that being said, it's not made exclusively, but they are definitely high regard and more considered more than the average movie goer. So they're more important in that case. It just makes sense. That's just good business. You don't make a horror movie.
I can agree.
You make a horror movie because people. Well, how do you think these existing IPs of horrors lasted for decades and decades? Because you got a group of people that's going to see it no matter how bad it is. They're still going to see it.
I can even agree with that one. But like I said, if someone said, "Well, that's not my Freddy," wouldn't crack a joke. It ain't your Freddy. Well, my Jason wouldn't kill you with a bow and arrow. He got to use a machete. It ain't your Jason.
Well, what they saying with that, Rob, you're being too specific because when people say stuff like, even when they say my Superman doesn't kill you, what they're saying is they all have. You can't really. I say you're kind of wrong for saying no, that's not your Superman. No, technically we all know that they didn't create Superman. However, everyone relates to a certain thing based on a personal feeling a lot of the time.
Wait. I'm gonna tell you this story, and this is a non-superhero. A couple of months ago, I was in New York City. I was at this party, right? Me and my boy were on 37th Street. We go down to the 7-Eleven on 37th and 8th to go get some ice. Two guys are standing there fighting each other, fist fighting each other. You know what happened that day? The Knicks lost to Boston. So the two guys fighting, one guy was a Knicks fan, one guy was a Celtic fan. And they're fighting because my team lost to you, my team. And we're looking like it ain't your team. So as we're standing watching this fight, the police come up there and lock them both up. So I'm looking at them getting locked up, and I said, how come your team ain't rescuing your ass right now? Because you going to jail.
Right.
But that is
really once again, that's just your perspective of it. The bottom line is fans are fanatics, right? I'm not delusional. But I mean I'm just saying that that's extreme, right? But I'm just saying, we as fans, if my team, if you talk about sports, my team loses, you goddamn right I'm gonna be mad. Am I gonna go beat somebody up? No. However, I might be very angry, and if they do something to anger me more, it may escalate. So you might say, okay, no, I'm just saying, I'm already in a bad mood. So you might just say something. You might just say something to piss me off. I'm in a bad mood, or I might say something slick to piss you off, and it escalates. So at the end of the day, am I fighting because my team lost? Maybe, but I'm just fighting because I'm angry that my team lost and it escalated. So fans, they take ownership of it. They spend their money. They invest their time.
They're mad at the coaches. They're mad at
they're mad at everybody.
You know the only thing I'm gonna back up with is when I was in college, and I went to USC, and we went to Notre Dame. I can't stand Notre Dame. I can't stand them with a passion. Right.
Yeah.
But I will admit that some of the players did kind of do some things to the crowd. We're playing in Notre Dame. They did do some things to antagonize the crowd because I'm sorry, Notre Dame sucks. And I swear to God, I wish I could have got my hands on that Notre Dame versus Miami t-shirt that said the Saints versus the Sinners. I would wear that thing. I didn't even go to Miami, but I would wear it every damn day. I can't stand Notre Dame.
It just comes to what happens with emotion. So bringing it back to movies, right? Like I said, everyone gets emotional. You got people that, the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games would have never been made if it wasn't for the fan base of the IP, right?
Of course.
And the fans found a way to, they complained about stuff. They it was just much better in the book. You hear that all the time. The book was much better.
It usually is.
It usually is, and you hear that all the time, right? But the bottom line is the reason why they make it is because of fans. So, while I will agree that no film is exclusively made for a person or group of people. However, that group of that original core fan base is the priority when you
They are.
make the film. They're the priority. There is no doubt about that. They are the priority because
but
they're
I
the
never,
reason
but I
you're
have never.
making the film.
They're
But
repetitive
see, I have
customers.
never been.
They're
I have
repetitive
never been in
customers.
it. I have never ever been in doubt that. Of course, you're going to
Right.
make it with the fans in mind, but always that's why I kept saying specifically the word exclusive. It's like myself. I am a fan of Star Wars movies, right?
Mhm.
I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, the last 5 Star Wars movies they all rocked. No, 2 of them did. 3 of them were trash.
Mhm.
That's the truth. 3 of them trash. But I'm not going to sit here and feel like, well, my Han Solo wouldn't have did this, and my Luke Skywalker wouldn't have did this, right? I mean,
No,
think
there
about
are
it.
some people that are more
That's
fanatic.
right. That's how many people. Think about it. How many people got pissed from the last Jedi when Luke throws the lightsaber away? They was like, "Oh, my Luke wouldn't do that." But then Rise of Skywalker, he
I don't
catches his
know
like.
what the hell you must go to movies where there are just
Yeah, I want to
freaking
meet some of these. I want to meet some of
everyone's
these
saying
knuckleheads.
my this, my that. Like I said, when I think of people that say stuff like, because I have the only thing that resonates with me that I've heard people say is when they said my Superman. It's about Superman because Superman, you got to remember, has been going on for generations, right? And every generation, there's a different Superman. So people
Yeah.
can kind of say my Superman because they mean my generation, the Superman I grew up
My
on. You know
generation
what I'm
of
saying? Because there's
Superman.
different generations of Superman. So if you say, nah, that's not Superman, that's not the Superman I grew up on. So that's the same deal. So you're relating it to your generation, whether it's your childhood or whatever whenever you fell in love with that character. It's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with anything. And
Mm-hmm.
people say their generation of music that ain't what you talk about. That ain't no R&B.
That was noise. That was noise.
That ain't no R&B. That ain't hip hop.
I'm saying that right now. The R&B
Yeah,
today is trash. It's trash. The
exactly.
hip hop today is trash.
Right,
It don't talk about
exactly.
nothing.
But we say that. But the
I could go
young
with
kids,
that.
the young cats are gonna be like, y'all old and bitter. That's what they're gonna say to us
And I would
because
sit there and
they
say,
think
well,
this
but I would
music
sit there
is
and say,
good.
well, if we old and bitter, then why you guys keep sampling the music that we did? Why you guys keep
Well,
sampling that?
I mean, the people before us said the same thing to our generation. The ones that were from that listened to the
But
music
they
in the
actually,
60s and
but
70s.
they actually liked it. They actually liked it.
Not all of them. I mean, a lot of people. There was a lot of people that said, y'all music, y'all era of music was trash because all y'all did was sample us. That ain't, or they won't say that the music trash. They'll say that you're trash as a musician. You
Yeah.
can't really create. All you do is sample from other people. You see what I'm saying? So my point is, there are eras that people kind of. I think where that my this, my that. For me, I think it comes from when people from the era that they're used to. So even when people might say, let's just say a comic book fan says that, maybe they're talking about what they're used to reading, maybe cartoons that they saw or whatever the case may be. But that's just
And
a few
don't
people.
forget, when did the first Star Wars movie come out?
May 25th, 1977.
19
1977.
exactly. So you're talking about 50 years.
Hmm.
So so I think Wes is right when they say my this and my that. Again, Ralph, I think you have to really discard some of these fanatics. The fanatics that you're talking about, I don't even deal with them. I don't care how much comic book. If you're
They're
taking that
just
much
annoying.
ownership and oh, I'm gonna
That's
write the
fanboys,
studio.
yeah.
I have no tolerance for them. They that
Well,
that that's
my fan issues go deeper than comics. It also, since it's on, it also relates to wrestling fans and some other things of that nature, where they see like, well, this is my person, my
but
person
those are
wouldn't do that.
extremes. Those are
They're,
extreme
Yeah,
they're just
fans.
that's ridiculous. But
and I run
just
into a
that,
lot of
and
extremes.
we're gonna end the show in a second. But I'm glad you brought up wrestling. It's a perfect example of that. The reason why I said, as an adult, I look at things different. Let's just say with Hulk Hogan, who just passed away, right? I said I grew up. I said, if this was the child version of me, I grew up loving Hulk Hogan, right? Because that's what I that was my. He wasn't my favorite wrestler. My favorite wrestler was Savage, but Hulk Hogan, in my opinion, and still in my opinion, is definitely the biggest star that's
Ever.
ever came
Yeah.
across, yeah, ever that's ever come across the WWE. He came from WWF to WWE, whatever you want to call it. Hogan's the biggest star. I'll never deny that. However, I felt, I didn't feel much of his passing because of, I had my little don't meet your don't
Right.
they'll never meet your heroes moment, right?
Yeah.
Because of the things that he did. But people are gonna say, you got people that's saying, you can't be disrespecting Hulk Hogan.
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
you can. Yeah, you can.
But
Because that's
if
it.
that's
I got in. Someone said that you can't disrespect. I said, "Oh yeah," because what he said was off the record. I said, "Listen, if you're gonna start making an excuse, you gotta start making an excuse for everybody. Then you can't be mad at Bill Cosby. You can't be mad at R. Kelly. You can't be mad at
yeah.
none of these people. You can't be
I'm not,
because
and I'm not and it's really not disrespecting him by saying how you feel.
You look at the
That's not
whole
disrespecting
person.
him.
You have to take consider.
That's
You have
not
to consider
disrespecting him.
the entire
It
person.
doesn't mean I didn't like. I'm not gonna. It can't change what I did like about him when back when I used to watch him in wrestling. That could
Right.
never change.
It can
You know
never
what I'm saying? But it
change.
doesn't mean. But it is what it is, right? So people are, a little, they're just a little crazy with it. But overall, to kind of put a bow on this, and but I appreciate everybody's perspective. But to put a bow on it, I feel that the at the end of the day, man, they definitely. I believe that they finally did get when we say things, and this is another thing that's more of a fan type of deal, where most fans of the IP, meaning the source material, will agree that they kind of got it right finally on a lot of levels when it came to comic book accuracy, when it came to effects and the other things that you see, like Galactus, for instance. That was a big deal, especially amongst fans. People who had no idea who Galactus was didn't care that he was some cloud on, in Rise of the Silver Surfer. But people who were fans of the material, they cared a lot that you're gonna show some big cloud and say that that's Galactus. So they got that right. A lot of the things, the family dynamic came through, and I have to say, man, not only that, just Marvel they're back to doing what they were doing in
It
the
was a
earlier
reset for
phases.
them. That movie's a
Mhm.
reset for them. Trust me on
Yeah,
that.
they're back to doing so. Even with the after credit scenes, giving you a little tease of what's coming next. They're back to doing that because some of the movies kind of they still set them up, but they were kind of going away from that as well. They were doing after credit scenes that that really didn't have any relevance to the next.
Yeah, but not
And
even not
oh,
even a hint, Wes.
that reminds me
Fantastic Four will appear in Doomsday.
Tuesday, yeah,
that reminds me. I have one more thing about the movie, and this is not about the
mm,
movie. This is
mm.
strictly to you fans. Strictly to you fans.
There you go.
Pe-
Yeah.
fans, I must say this. Marvel is about 37 movies in. For the love of God, stop walking out of the theater when the credits start rolling. There's usually something else coming.
I know. That is
Right?
annoying to me. When I'm sitting there and I see people leaving, in my
You know who's
mind, I'm
leaving?
on
You know who's leaving?
the non-comic fan.
You know who's leaving?
But whether you're a non-con fan or not, but at this point, you know
Yeah,
that
The
you're
only
right.
people
You should
that
be
staying,
Marvel,
trained by now.
the
yeah, you
only
should be
people
trained for that by
staying are
now.
the comic book
But
fans.
you know what, Ralph? The reason why the non-comic book fans are the ones leaving because they probably never stayed, so they're not trained. They probably never stayed.
But I'm sure somebody
And they don't
in
care
my
that
life,
much. They don't care that much.
since the first movie came out, someone like said, "Yo, this scene came at the end of the movie." This like. It's kind of like in the cipher, and actually, I want to sit there and say that I think now when it comes to particularly comic book movies, that there's usually now the DC does it too, that there's usually something else after the credits roll. So once it says directed by, please don't get up. There's
You gotta
something
talk
else
to your
coming.
non-comic book fans.
I'm talking to everybody. I know. Listen,
but they don't really care, bro.
See, I feel you guys, and maybe you're getting up because you really got to go to the bathroom. I can grant that. Maybe you really got to go to the bathroom, but go to the bathroom. And that's not the fault of the movie theater that the bathroom is so far away from the theater you're in. But try to go and come back. because it might. But by the time you get back, since it's taking 30 minutes for end credits to roll, you might still catch what's going on.
That's true. Here it is. I watched the movie back to back. I watched it at 9:30 in the morning, and then I watched it at 12. Right. The 12 o'clock viewing, I left at the end credits because I already saw them. And it's funny, someone actually mentioned to me, I guess that would annoy them too. They was like, "Hey man, you're gonna miss the end credits. There's an end credit scene. There's two." I said, "Yeah, I already saw them." I'm like, yeah. I already saw them. So I'm gonna go. Actually, I did stay for the Doom one again, but the one at the end where they showed the cartoon,
You should have
I
told
didn't
them what
stay for that one.
you should have told them what's gonna happen.
I know I ruined it for him. I know, but no, I agree. That kind of annoys me too when you keep seeing people get up. But for the most part, most of the people still sit there, at least for
But
the
you still got
first
you
version
still
of
got
it.
that family of four that's been in there arguing, and this is for the fan. Another thing, this is not for fans of comics. This is for fans of movies. Please, I cannot say this enough. Stay off your damn cell phones. You don't need to be doing TikTok or Twitter or anything else while the damn movie is going on. I don't need to see the multicolor coming from your hand because you got to talk to someone that damn bad. You got to talk to someone that bad. Get the hell out
These are
the
not
theater.
comic book fans.
I'm not talking about people that go to movies in general. Forget comic fans. People go to movies in general. If you got a conversation that's that damn bad, go the fuck outside the theater. I don't want to see. That's why we a bunch of us. There were two people in the fifth row that were on their cell phones, and we don't know what the hell they were doing. And we said, shut the damn phones off.
Yeah, that's annoying, bro. That's annoying.
That is annoying.
So, and I'll add one more, and then I'm gonna end the show. I'm gonna start it like Ralph. For the love of God, people, find a babysitter when you go to the movie.
Oh my God!
Do not bring a baby to the movie. That poor kid is probably trembling, especially in an IMAX theater movie with loud noises. My 5-year-old doesn't like loud noises. We have to literally bring her headphones sometimes so she can get used to the loud noises when we take her to the movie.
And this is an IMAX, bro. This is an IMAX.
Right, it's an IMAX, and that's a 5-year-old who's like that. Don't bring a baby to the movies. Get a babysitter. Get a babysitter.
And you know
it's inconsiderate to every selfish. It's inconsiderate to everyone else who paid the same amount of money you paid to come see this movie, only to have it ruined by your kid.
Right.
And I got one more, another one. Film fans that go to movie theaters, for the love of God, please don't bring your kids that don't have no damn home training. I don't want no kids running up and down the steps, stepping over people, throwing popcorn, all this other bullshit because you want to put them on a timeout. Fuck a timeout.
I want to know what movie theaters you're going to.
I can avoid them. I gotta stay away. But I was at a theater. I think actually at Superman and at Fantastic Four. Someone bought a baby, and I was like, "What is wrong with these people?" I didn't know if that was Franklin crying or the baby in the theater. What's going on? Yeah, I was like, "Whoa, wow!" I'm like, "Boy, this surround sound is good."
It's really good. It's almost like they're right next to me.
Almost like they're right next to me. But anyway, we want to thank Bruce for coming through. We want to thank Tony Perez for coming through, putting their perspectives on. And next week, like I said, I apologize everyone for all of the echo sound. I'm on vacation. I'm in like an Airbnb, not an Airbnb. It's actually a timeshare, and it's echoey in here. So I apologize for that. But
See, Naked Gun Friday. Naked Gun.
naked. I gotta go see. I gotta go see. I know what you did last summer. I want to see it. Um, Naked Gun. I'm gonna check that out. I don't know. I don't know what else. The Smurfs. I think the Smurfs is
That's it.
once again, that's a fan thing. The Smurfs is doing bad because the fans aren't really accepting it. They're like, not my Smurfs.
Right.
They're not going out to see Smurfette as Rihanna as Smurfette.
Nope, because nope. It's just her
Because she's not
voice.
doing Pond the Replay. Because she's not doing Pond the
She
Replay.
ain't doing Pond the Replay. It's just her voice. They don't care. But yeah, we'll definitely get at y'all next week, man. And
All right, guys.
yeah, Bruce, thanks a lot for coming through.
All right, Ralph. Be good, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll
When I see Naked Gun on Friday, I won't lodge my real complaint about it because I think it's unnecessary. Actually, I had a revelation yesterday that he should not be Frank Drebin. He shouldn't be Naked Gun. You know what he really should have been? He should, because they were showing it on this cable channel the other day.
But I thought he's supposed to be Frank Drebin's son.
He shouldn't. Now he shouldn't be Drebin anything. Know who he really should be. Do you remember the TV series Sledgehammer with David Rasheed?
No, I don't remember that.
Go. It's called Sledgehammer. He's kind of like a knock of Clint East of Dirty Harry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so he, as a catchline, he'll shoot you. He says it's okay. I know what I'm doing. He'll shoot you. But he's like this ultra. Like, all he thinks about is fucking people up. Liam Neeson would kill it at Sledgehammer. I don't know about he would.
I'm not sure of the. I gotta look it up. I'm not sure of the character. Thank you, Couture Bay. Thank you, Couture Bay, for that comment.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the Zuckerberg kind of because there's one channel that I have with his cable system. They had a marathon yesterday of Police File, which is a Naked Gun, and Sledgehammer. So I sat here last night and watched a whole bunch of episodes of Sledgehammer. I was like, that's who Neeson should have played. He should have played that dude instead of playing.
That's funny. Yeah, he's supposed to be Frank Drebin's son.
Yeah, but I think he would have killed it playing. Look it up on YouTube. He would have killed it playing Sledgehammer. That's the guy's name. First name Sledge, last name Hammer.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. All right, y'all. So we will definitely get at y'all next week. And till then, you can love us, you can hate us, but don't forget about us. Y'all, peace out.
Deuces. Bring the.
Don't you forget about me.